Hey, hello, it's Friday, June 2nd, and at my buddy Rich's house, helping him do some repairs so we can get the place ready for renting. And I'm starting out with the well pump system. We got just plain well water here. There was an aerator system that's now defunct. The whole tank is shot. There's a big hole at the bottom of it. And my house is close by here, and the water system that I got installed uses a chlorine injector. So that's what we're going to start with. But before we can get that far, we've got to fix, some bad wiring. I should have started this video a little while ago, but I was a little bit spooked by the bees. They're swarming like crazy and dive bombing me and stuff, so kind of messed with my head. But anyway, so what we got going here, there was just a bunch of wire hanging out at this elbow, exposed wiring with wire nuts going to this 220 volt to run the pump. And then they were exposed wires going up under here to this 120 volt outlet. So what we're going to do for starters is we're going to get all this electrical squared away. These two are the wires for the 120 volts. These two are the wires for the 220 volt to feed the pump. I put this box on here. It's a regular 4-inch box. The ground wires were connected to this rod right here, this yellow stuff, but they were corroded really bad, and I just pulled them right out from underneath that little spot right there. So I'm gonna go get a 1/2-inch wrench and see if I can loosen this and put a terminal underneath there to supply my ground, so we have a better chance of that sticking around. It'd be nice if I can get this off because we don't need it anymore. Maybe I can. All right, so after we get this done, I'm gonna replace this wire. And it's not exactly the way I would want to do it, but I kind of don't have a choice because we're squeezed in so tight right there where the black wire is going into the pump switch, that we're going to continue with that method of using this cord. I bought new wire, and I'm going to put a 220 volt plug on the end of it, and inside this box I'm going to put a 220 volt outlet, and that'll give me my connection. It'll also give you serviceability, plus it provides a disconnect in the area, which you kind of need to have a disconnect, right? At least a switch or something. So we'll be able to unplug the pump as a disconnect. And then the 120 volt outlet, which really wasn't being used for anything other than this wire was hooked to the back of the outlet direct to provide 120 volts to a timer that's way down there at the other end. There's another pump down there. I think there's two well heads here. The other pump was for irrigation, and it's not being used. So we're just focusing on this pump, which provides water to the house. So what we're gonna do is get these outlets installed with a weather-tight enclosure on the front of it. And then we're going to replace the pump feed. We're going to add another wire to come out of there to connect to the pump side of the switch where the two white wires are. And that's going to go to another box. Well, you know what? I could use this box for that. That would actually be a great idea, so I don't have to install it. I think I've got plenty of wire to do that. Anyway, that will come hot with 220 volts when the pump switch closes, and that'll provide the switched power. All right, so wasn't easy so far. It's not easy anyway. So I couldn't get this thing off. I had to put vice grips on it and work it and work it and work it to get it off. So then I went and got my Dremel and I ground down the sides of this a little bit. It's a copper clad steel rod, so I know that I may have circumvented some of the copper corrosion preventiveness on it. So I smeared the thing completely with silicone grease. so we can get that back on without beating it with a hammer. Now we're gonna use this wrench to tighten that up. And so here's what I put at the end of the wire. Again, that put the silicone grease all on the inside of that and saturated the strands to help keep that from corroding. We're going to put this in from the bottom up so it's less likely to get snagged. And I think what I might also do is put a tie wrap, a zip tie, down here later when I can go get one. All right, let's show you what we got done so far. So we got our two grounds connected. All right, coming through the bottom of the box, I drilled 2 holes because that's the only thing I can do. And here's our 220 outlet. We use crimp terminals so we can make great connections. Here's our 120 volt outlet. Same deal. And we're going to stuff all this in the box and put the cover on it. And this part will be done. So the accessible receptacle cover, this is the half of it. The other half is a plastic dome. So this is designed to be having things plugged in it continuously. So you pick the right little black template piece, and this one could use the switch or various size circles. So I opened that up, used my Dremel to get it to size because I couldn't break the last ring off carefully. And this has got the regular Decora style outlet cover like that. So now we're going to put the 4 screws in, leave them loose, and this can hook on and we tighten it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, and that's what that looks like. Nice waterproof enclosure. And you lift up the little cover thing and there's your receptacles. Beautiful. All right, part 2. Man, that was tough. All right, here we are, part 2. So yesterday I pulled the cover off of this thing. Here's what the cover looks like. All right, your standard well pump pressure switch. And I scooped out all the lizard eggs and the dead lizard carcasses from there, which is a thing because I can't get in there. Hold on here, let's see. All right, yeah. The power wire right here doesn't have a grommet, so critters can get in the box. And we're gonna try to remedy that to a degree anyway, but I sprayed this whole thing down with PB Blaster yesterday to give it some time to soak in there, because there's a high probability that we're gonna have a failure here trying to take this thing apart. And then to change this switch, I gotta take the whole pump out of here because there's no room to work because it's so close. Well, maybe I could unscrew it. Yeah, look at that. All right, well, let's just hope for the best. I'm prepared for the worst. If I can get these 4 screws out of here, we're going to be golden. Although I probably should replace this thing anyway because it looks so sad. But let's see what the gods have in store for us. Well, alrighty then. I think the electrical is done. All right, this is defunct. This used to go to the aerator pump. There's something over there, I guess. Yeah, the aerator pump. Here's our power supply. It'd be nice if I put a bracket and mounted this thing, but I think that's where we're gonna stop. Got our grounds. And this box is the switched 220 volt. If I could get it open. And that's going to run our chlorinator pump. It'll just plug right in there. And on this end, we've got this, powers everything. 220 volt plug, plugs in here. Let me make sure I did this right now. Let's see. Here's the power supply. Yeah, okay. Power supply is going on the outside terminals. Pump is hooked onto the inside terminals. That's how it was. And then the other two wires I just added that go to that other outlet box over there, right here and here. So everything is hooked up electrically exactly the way it was before I got here. I'm going to go turn on the power. And we're going to check to make sure we got everything working here correct. Then we're going to plug that guy in and listen to the pump come on and listen to it go off with the pressure switch. And we're going to do, I got a pressure gauge. I'll put the pressure gauge on there, make sure we got a good pressure setting. All right, just plugged it in. See what pressure we build up to here. 40 would be good. More would be a little better. Where'd you go? These freaking bees, man, Jesus. Sitting here, I got a towel over my head. He's 50 almost. Perfect. I'll take it. All right, we got the electrical done. Already got stung, I think twice already. Freaking bees. All right, we're done for now. So this is the port for priming the pump. Normally, the suction side of the pump. So we're still going to be able to use it for that purpose through this hole, straight through the valve when the valve is open. So this is going to give us access to the water flow. Right now, this is under a positive pressure because the check valve is here. So we've got to have the chlorine injection check valve here. So if we break a line somewhere from here over there, there'll be no flow of water coming out of this. The check valve will only let the chlorine mixture come in here. So the check valve's got to screw right into this. I've ordered it yesterday. It'll be here today or tomorrow. It's just a little 1/4 inch check valve. And then on the other side of the check valve, I've already got the fitting to convert to push lock for the 1/4 inch plastic tubing. And that's going to run over there where the pump's going to sit on that little flat spot back there and be plugged into that outlet right there. So when the pump comes on, that outlet gets hot, the injection pump runs, and it'll suck the chlorine mixture out of the tank, which I don't have yet, and inject it into here. Got to get myself a 1/4 inch plug. There was a steel plug that I took out of here that I am not going to use here. I would prefer to use brass or plastic plug right there. So I got to go to the store for that plug. And yeah, I guess I could set the injection pump in there for now. All right. Can't wait to see this thing work.